So, I mean, I don't think it would be an overstatement to say that everywhere you look today, someone is talking about the transformative role AI is having and will continue to have on the workplace experience, how it will impact our roles, our work, our relationships with leaders, colleagues, and clients. But when we start talking about AI and recognition specifically, we see the conversation take on some very interesting considerations. And namely, what happens when this kind of unique digital experience moves further and deeper into what is, for many, historically an in person experience. So I think we're, as you know, kind of Kristen sort of laid the groundwork, ideas of meaning and human centric are all going to really kind of come into play here. Now, one thing I do want to be clear about, um, even in with this setup here, this isn't to say that technology in whatever form it takes isn't welcome in the recognition experience. And actually, in fact, our study found that 70% of employees believe technology is important to the success of their company's recognition program. But when it comes to recognition, AI represents something different. It's a form of technology with the potential to support the human side of the employee experience, or, as some fear, potentially replace it.
This is really interesting, Daniel. And I think that this stat in particular just really goes to show that although it's the human element that makes recognition meaningful, things are a little bit more complicated, right? It's not just that we're accepting the human side, which means that we're rejecting technology in some way. We're not rejecting technology. There's something more complicated going on here.
Absolutely. And I think what you're going to see over the course of some of this data is, some of the findings, what we found was that, and in a lot of respects, employees are not as frightened or scared of AI as a technology. That there's a place and a role for technology within, not only in the workplace, but within the recognition experience. But there's some really interesting subtleties and nuances that will start to emerge. And then, of course, like the personal, recognizing that personal human connection really is central to the recognition experience. And this really prompted us to start our AI exploration with some very basic questions. So, first of all, what do employees think about AI? Are they using it now as part of their recognition program? How is it being used? And is it helping or hurting those powerful personal connections that happen when recognition is done right? So, I mean, I guess in short, is AI improving their recognition experience? As a starting point, we found that 80% of respondents reported that their organization uses some form of technology in their recognition program. So this is not terribly surprising. And this would include features or functions like e-cards or award nominations and online stores for redemption. Now, given the growing adoption of workplace recognition programs and platforms, this was a fairly predictable finding and one that actually aligns with our previous research. Now, what was interesting was the discovery that AI has already become a part of many recognition programs, and that nearly half of employees have used AI to craft a recognition message. So, how do they feel about this new AI experience and recognition? Well, the research suggests something of a kind of a middle of the road response. Just over half of employees feel that AI can improve their recognition experience, and 60% believe it can help them create better recognition messages. We are in the early days of adoption of AI and recognition, so this type of response isn't terribly surprising. Now, that said, while roughly half of employees see the positive potential in AI and recognition, 63% also see a potential downside in that AI will make recognition less personal.
Right, Daniel. What stands out to me here is the perception that, well, AI might make processes faster or more polished. Employees are a little worried that it is going to strip out that personal component.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that very sentiment came through time and time again in our focus groups. In fact, here's what one participant had to say. At the point that recognition is just auto generated, where did it really come from? It's different when it comes from a person. If somebody really took a moment to write out their thoughts and how they felt about whatever it was I'd done, I would definitely cherish that more. And again, this is the type of concern or feeling that we heard multiple times from both in our qualitative research, and it kind of came through strong in the survey data as well. And so I guess that the initial takeaway here is that employees want a recognition experience that is more than just an efficient transaction. And if AI is going to be a part of recognition, it has to support genuine human expressions of appreciation that let a person know that they are truly seen, valued, and heard. So, in short, for AI to really truly be effective in recognition, it should serve the human side of the experience.